The Classic. It happens once a year, annually. 2 HBCUs from Florida, one public, one private, one in Daytona, one in Tallahassee. But they always seem to meet once a year, late November, in Orlando. Growing up, when I used to go to the Classic, it was about the bands. People didn't go for the game, not the game. They went for the bands. They went in at halftime, and they left at the end of halftime. You only went to the game in the second quarter to get better seats or not to get crowded for the bands. Now, the Classic's a little different. A little bit more Hollywood. And you know how I feel about Hollywood and Florida. We already got one, we don't need two. But it's still the Classic. The focus may not be the bands. The focus may be the football game. Which, in some people's opinion, may be better. But the Classic. The Classic. The Florida Blue Classic is what they call it. Bethune-Cookman University. Used to be called BCC, Bethune-Cookman College. Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. Highest of 7 hills. The College of Love and Charity. Orange and Green. The Rattlers versus the Wildcats. The Classic is this weekend. Now, will I be there? Yes. And I can't wait because it's the Classic, the biggest football game in almost all of HBCU sports, athletics. Howard versus Hampton may argue with me. NCAT versus North Carolina. I was just gonna say North Carolina. NCAT, North Carolina A&T versus North Carolina Central may have an argument. Alabama A&M, Alabama State may have an argument. But the biggest game in HBCU athletics, in my opinion, and I'm biased, is Florida A&M versus Bethune-Cookman University. And it will be a dandy. FAMU, 7-2, I believe, or they just lost 2 games, maybe 9-2, maybe 8-2. I'm the sports expert, and I don't know. Bethune-Cookman, I don't believe, has won a game, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't, because this is the Classic. Records don't matter. FAMU being number 1 public HBCU. Having Common, Will Packer, Kevin Hart coming, First Take coming. It doesn't matter. Because they have 9 in a row, Bethune-Cookman University against the Florida A&M Rattlers. None of that matters. Yeah, Bethune-Cookman University may be going through a little bit of financial issues or had financial issues. But that doesn't matter. Because they're going to get new helmets. And they're going to be there at the Classic. The Classic, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful experience, and I suggest everyone to see it once in their life. White, black, Asian, Native American. It's the Classic in Orlando. I have another announcement for you all. I'm recording this on a Wednesday. But I believe I will be changing the Peng Sports Podcast to be posted every Thursdays. Maybe it will be at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. I'm still determining that. Will I post this podcast today and let you guys know next week? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. But the Peng Sports Podcast has a new date of posting. Maybe not a new date of recording, but a new date of posting. Thursdays at 7 a.m. every week. Be there or be square. The Peng Sports Podcast, episode 38, the classic. And I have to say this, public service announcement. For everyone who goes to Florida Agricultural Mechanical University. The third floor of the library is the quiet floor. Stop bringing your girl, stop bringing your boy, stop bringing your squad up to the third floor and talking. We're studying over here. It's quite annoying. Just a public service announcement. If anyone knows about quiet study rooms or quiet study areas, there's usually blockages. So you sit down, you pull up your chair, and then there's a wall on your left, wall on your right, wall in front of you. Miniature. It's not towering over you, but they're wooden, and it's a wall, so you can hone in on what you're studying. Perfect. Whoever created it, congratulations. But people seem to ignore that and peer behind the wall and talk to other people. Which doesn't make any sense. The second floor is for conjugating and talking and doing your thing. The third floor is for quietness. You can sleep as long as you're staying quiet. Third floor is for quiet. I'm just saying. Because it happened yesterday. Some dude, some young lady, just talking the whole time. Right by me. Quite disrespectful, if I do say so myself. This is the Peng Sports Podcast, episode 38. As I said, the classic. It's currently 7:37 a.m. Wednesday, October was last month, November 17th, 2021. England, Brazil, Switzerland, Croatia, France, Netherlands, and I believe Serbia have all qualified for the World Cup. Congratulations. Expected for Brazil, expected for England, expected for France, expected for Netherlands. Netherlands, no way they could have missed 2 World Cups in a row. No way. Canada beat Mexico. International football, it may be better than ever. I don't agree with the whole statement that international football's gotten worse. There's better managing, better players playing for different teams, switching their citizenship. Serginho Dest has a Dutch accent, and he plays for the United States, even though he hasn't been in the World Cup qualifiers. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's more spread more evenly, divided. Canada, 10 years ago, if they played Mexico, what's the count? 6-0 Mexico? International football is better than ever. And it's only going to get better. Just like football, it has only gotten better. Portugal in the playoffs, Italy in the playoffs. Yeah, preferably like Manchester United. You don't want to lose 5-0. Portugal didn't lose 5-0. But preferably you don't want to be in the playoffs. Preferably you would have liked to be in Serbia. And I believe Italy played Northern Ireland and beat Northern Ireland and progressed on to the World Cup finals. So you don't have to worry about the playoffs and who you'll play. But remember the triad of success, right? Experience is one of the pillars on the triad. Last time I believe Portugal was in a playoff, they played Sweden. if I'm not mistaken. And Ronaldo scored a hat trick. Played a hat trick. So, experience matters. Italy. European champions. Experience. Most of those players have won Serie A's. They've been in tight situations. Chiesa last year had to win a bunch of games in a row for Juventus to make Champions League this year. Experience. They still have Bonucci, Chiellini. I think they'll be alright. I think both teams will be alright. For Italy, you sort of have to factor in the pressure of not making the last World Cup. Portugal, I guess you have to factor in Ronaldo's last chance for a World Cup. So there's maybe a little added pressure. But again, experience is usually the cure-all for pressure and little mistakes for things like this, right? When there's added pressure, usually experience takes care of all that. Chemistry. Most of these guys will play on the same team for the Euros, right? But with Portugal, they're in an interesting position where I think the manager, if the manager had to choose, he would have, instead of having all this attacking-minded midfield talent, he would have preferred more defensive midfield talent, if that makes sense. He plays a more defensive game, and he's sort of mixed. Okay, so I have to play attacking because I have so much attacking talent. But how I know how to win is we stay compact at the back and we beat them in the counterattack. And the counterattacking part works well with Portugal. It's more of the pressing as well. The pressing works well with Portugal. It's more of the compactness at the back. Right? Diaz is good. Pepe's good. But I'm drinking tea tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, I should say. And it's quite bright outside for 7:42 a.m. I don't mind it being this bright, but daylight savings time is just, you could delay it a little bit. Get bright at 7:50 or brighter at 7:50. And then instead of it getting dark at 6, let's make it dark at 7. I just feel like it gets bright at 6:45 and then gets dark at 6:15. Preferably, I don't like daylight savings time. I also prefer warm weather as well, so. But with Italy, right, we talked about it, the pressure of not making the last World Cup. And I wonder if it's somewhat, when Super Bowl teams win the Super Bowl, sometimes they don't even make the playoffs the next year. Is Italy sort of in that similar position, right? Where they won Euros, monkeys off the back, and they sort of not overestimated their abilities, but relaxed a little bit. Because it was 0-0 versus Northern Ireland. A hungry Italy scores a goal. Maybe gives up a goal, but they score a goal 100%. Again, Italy and Portugal will most likely be fine. But you preferably want to get in the World Cup when everyone else is getting in, right? But England, trust the process. Play Trent Alexander-Arnold at center mid. Play him at center mid. He does it at Liverpool pretty much. Against West Ham, he did it. He does it all the time. Play him at center mid with Declan Rice. That's the thing. Do I really want to not start Calvin Phillips? Is that something I really want to do? But it's one of those things where 2-1 up, 1-0 up, 76 minute, and you got to put in Calvin Phillips to finish up the game is not too shabby. And if they score a goal to tie it 2-2, Calvin Phillips has enough attacking prowess to get a goal for England. So it will be interesting. Because I'm not starting Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm not. He's the best player on England. Not playing your best player. What did we talk about with Ancelotti? With Zidane. He changed the system for Zidane. I'm not saying Gareth Southgate is a bad coach if he doesn't change the system. He's made the Euro finals and the World Cup semifinals. And going back by this trajectory, he's going to win the next World Cup. It's not guaranteed, but the way he's shown, his method works. So to change the method may be the way you win it all. Become one of the greatest international sides ever, like a Spain, right? I just play my best players. If I were a manager, but this is not FIFA, which is very important. I will have an image up of the starting 11 for England, right? With everyone. Who's who? Shout out to One Piece. 5 at back. I already posted something. Walker right. Maguire middle. Stones left. Alexander-Arnold right winger, but right wing back. But it may be a Chilwell. It may be a Reece James. And then you'll see it. You'll see it. Xavi, the Barcelona manager. New Barcelona manager. Congratulations. There's something about coming back. We talked about comebacks in sports. You're down 2-0 up, or you just lost 5-0, then you come back and beat Tottenham 3-0. I'm not letting people forget that. Or an injury, and the player comes back, has another good season. But there's something about coming back home. And we see that we've seen it in Philadelphia with Allen Iverson, right? We've seen it with, I don't know where else we've seen it. But I think we sort of saw it with Peyton Manning. I believe he retired with the Colts. We just see it. These things happening, right? Where coming back just makes you feel warm. Makes you feel good. Coming back home when you've been away for a little while. And then you come back home. I was talking to a dude the other day. Yesterday, actually. From Jacksonville. And he couldn't imagine a world where he would go back to Jacksonville. And I believe in 30 to 40 years, he will be back in Jacksonville. Not because he got forced to, but because there's something about coming back. Now, Kamal, are you coming back to Jacksonville? No, I'm not. When I'm older, maybe. But right now, it's time to grow. And that's what everyone has to do. Xavi grew when he left. And now he's coming back to show how much he's grown and to expand Barcelona. Congratulations, Xavi. And I want to talk about the Super League right now. Serie A. Napoli, Milan, undefeated. Right now, Fiorentina and Roma are above Juventus. Juventus are 14 points off of Milan and Napoli. AC Milan. 7 points off fourth Atalanta. And I don't see Atalanta dropping off form. Napoli tried of success. They have all three: chemistry, experience, and talent. Jerseys, kits on. It's not part of the triad, but it's extra credit. The kits I don't know too much about. I'm not too sure about those. It's not too hard to mess with the Napoli kits, but the sponsor, I've never heard of it. EA7, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If I couldn't get a sponsorship from Nike, Adidas, or Puma, honestly, I probably wouldn't get a sponsorship from Nike. But if I couldn't get a sponsorship from Puma or Adidas, I'm going to Umbro or Kappa. That's my next two options. And then I'll go to the third party back wall. These aren't back wall companies, but the lesser known, the companies that you have to look a little harder for. They got a bunch of oregano, bunch of salt, bunch of pepper, but the cayman is hidden. To look for the cayman, I would look for the cayman last, is what I'm saying. And maybe the cayman gave the most lucrative offer, but I'm just curious how the kit sales go with, like, I like to see a Brighton versus a Aston Villa and see who gets more kit sales. One sponsored by Kappa, one sponsored by Nike. Or Brighton versus a Wolves. I don't remember Wolves sponsor, but I do remember it was like it had two wings on it. I'm just curious to see if the kit sales internationally or in the area or overall or more because Brighton is sponsored by Nike. It's just something I'm thinking about. What do you think? You think shirt sponsor matters and it's a direct correlation? Better shirt sponsor or more known shirt sponsor, better, more product, more production and sales in kits. But we're seeing with Juventus being 7th in the league that money no longer, or it still does, but more money can't buy you leagues anymore, right? Because AC Milan has, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure AC Milan has more money than Atalanta. They're above in the league right now, but over the past 3 to 4 years, and this is a long season, ladies and gentlemen. A long season. But it's about player development. Because I think everyone's getting money. I think it's more about player development and recruiting more than ever, which is making football better. Because having a wad and and a bunch of people with just a cluster of talent isn't going to win you anything. You have to have a system. You have to have people who know the club. You have to have experience, chemistry. Atalanta have all those. Napoli have those. Milan have those. Juventus, they have those in segments, but their experience is getting older. Dybala is, he's not old, but the center backs, back line, certain players, they're just getting a little bit older. I think Cuadrado's like 32, 31, 33. You need more. And you can see this, how football's evolved, and how Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola, Their system used to dominate. Now their systems, Pep Guardiola's system still somewhat dominates, but he can't win the Champions League. That's not dominating, in my opinion. When other people are winning leagues over you, Liverpool won the league, Chelsea are above you, and you beat Chelsea. It's just not as easy as it used to be, ladies and gentlemen. And I think football is way better. How many people would consider Jose Mourinho a top 5 manager in the world? I think a lot of people may put Klopp, Tuchel, Pep. They may put, I'm of course putting the Atalanta manager in the top 5. And then Jose 5. Some people may put Poch there. Currently, they may put David Moyes there. Some may put the Ajax manager there. The Bayern Munich manager. It's just not this easy thing where Jose Mourinho is just top 5. There used to be a point in time where Jose Mourinho was 2 or 1 easily. Some people may put Diego Simeone over him. They may put Zidane, even though he's out of a job right now, over him. They may put Ancelotti over him. There's a lot of good managers. Now, football is better than it's ever been. Football is getting better, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to accept it. It's the teal pants. It's the teal plants. It's the teal pants. I'm telling you, it's the teal pants. Why are the Jaguars wearing teal pants? Agnew scores a touchdown. But the teal pants, a long touchdown, a momentum swinging touchdown, a good touchdown. Trevor Lawrence has a chance to win the final drive of the game. Fumble. It's the teal pants. Stop wearing the teal pants, man. I think the last 2 times we won, we haven't worn teal pants. When we're 2-0. Not 2-0. But it's the teal pants. And I'm sick of the teal pants. Black pants. White pants. But not teal. It just doesn't work, man. Why do we even have a teal selection? There's no color rush uniforms this year. There's no need for teal. Take out the teal pants. White, black, and that's my computer. White, black, white with stripes, black with stripes, but no teal. The teal pants are killing us. I mean the Jaguars. There's no bias at the Peng Sports Podcast. We like every team equally. Even though I'm from Jacksonville. Unbiased. Everything I'm unbiased. Jalen Hurt. Anyone who's listened to the earlier podcast knows what I'm talking about. I was consistently saying in another podcast, Jalen Hurt, when I meant to say Jalen Hurts with an S. But Jalen Hurts is bringing the hurt. Again, when you thought this podcast couldn't get any more cornier, here you go. Here's some more corn for you. Here's a whole field of it. No scarecrows. Corn. He's been balling. And remember I said earlier podcasts, that he may not be a starter in the league for a long time, but he's definitely going to have a job. He will be the starter for the Eagles next season. The Eagles are winning games. Now they're winning games they're supposed to win. And being competitive in games where it's sort of a toss-up. And that's all you really want from a football team. That's all you really want from any team. Just be competitive. Take care of business and be competitive. and let the cards fall where they may. Because this Eagles team would have made the playoffs last year. And they still have a chance to make the playoffs this year. It's a long season. It's a long season. And hopefully Philip Walker gets another chance to be the starter for the Panthers. Cam Newton coming back is fun, cool, but I mean, he just beat the best team in the league in most people's opinions. In Arizona, can you give the man a chance? Can you not give up the job already? I think the man sort of earned it. In my opinion, I think he would have earned it if it was a close game and they lost. But, you got to put people in the seats. And there's another quarterback on that team that puts people in the seats 100%. No matter what, who, what, when, where. We could be playing in Turkey. We could be playing in Ethiopia. We could be playing in Jamaica. We could be playing in Uruguay. It doesn't matter. He will put people in the seats. Cam Newton. If I want to win, I'm keeping in Philip Walker as long as I can. And then Cam Newton can play. Learn the offense a little bit better. Gets a little bit more hungry. I'm not a professional football coach. And believe it or not, these teams are businesses. And I don't know how to run a business. So, that's not my decision. And going 4-10 last week, maybe I shouldn't be giving football advice. American football advice. But with minor setbacks, only prepares you for a minor comeback. You don't need a major comeback for minor setbacks. You need minor comebacks for major. You need minor comebacks for minor setbacks. And I can only get better. Once you reach rock bottom, of course I could go 3-11 or 0-14. But once you've gone rock bottom, it's always, you can only go up from there. You can only go up. So week 11, predictions. Most likely on American football and other sports I don't know a lot about. Like ping pong. Predictions. Panthers versus, goodness gracious, man. I do not have dyslexia. But it definitely says Patriots versus Falcons, and I said Panthers. I was talking about the Panthers earlier. That's why I said it. Patriots versus Falcons. Falcons. Now, where were we? I took a little break. I had to handle some stuff. Bears versus Ravens. Were we Ravens versus Bears, or do we? Ravens versus Bears. We'll just start there. Ravens bounce back. This is what makes or breaks a season. This is what makes a Super Bowl team a Super Bowl team. And what makes the Ravens what they've been these past 3 years. Good, but can't really get over the hump. This is a get over the hump game. In Chicago, it's going to be cold. Haven't been home in 2 weeks. They played sort of one of those trap games. Remember the trap games? When they come to Florida, come to Los Angeles. Come to Las Vegas. Yes, out of the cold. In Miami. Lamar Jackson was pretty much home. Probably his whole family was there. It's a trap. It's one of those games. Easy win. Nah. Miami has something to say about that. Miami said this is the game that changed our season. Are the Ravens best? Are the Dolphins best? Ravens probably beat them. But the Dolphins came with a goal and a mission, and they accomplished it. And that's good coaching. Don't look at the record, look at the coaching. Packers versus Vikings. Packers. Colts versus Bills, Buffalo Bills. Lions versus Browns. Lions get their first win of the season. They got the first tie of the season. Now it's time for the first win. They cut the losing streak. They're undefeated with this past week. They haven't lost. And it's better than losing. I was supposed to say tying in there somewhere, right? Tying is better than losing. Congratulations, Lions. Hard fought. Outside, cold. Big Ben, no Big Ben. You still got to show up and play. And they have a very good defense, the Steelers. Washington football team versus the Panthers. As I said, it's tough not to start Cam Newton. But Philip Walker, I think, deserves a chance. At least the opportunity to start. Again, the best team. They beat the best team in the league in some to most people's opinion. But Washington, this is the kind of game where Washington's circling the calendar. Not because they're playing Carolina, not because Cam Newton's playing. But this is the kind of game, well, it is sort of because they're playing Carolina. But this is the kind of game where, okay, this isn't a team that is better than us. Because Washington, they don't have the luxury of getting teams caught off guard like Jacksonville does and Miami does. But Washington, so every team's going to sort of show up to play Washington, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, but yeah, when they come to play Washington, they know something's up. It's gonna be a grudge match. And when Washington play other teams that aren't of the higher caliber in the NFL, they circle it on the calendar and say, yes, this is a game we can win. This is a game we can dominate on defense. This is a game where we can beat them running the football, quick passes. And that's why I just feel as if though the Washington football team can beat the Panthers, and they will beat the Panthers. This may be in the nail in the coffin for Philip Walker if he starts. But Washington football team win. Hard fought, hard nosed, grime time. Not grime time, it's beautiful grime. Beautiful grime. Beautiful dirty football. Washington football team win. Texans versus Titans. Titans win barely. They barely beat the Texans. Not because Titans are bad, but they kind of got two tough victories. And I think they're going to get another tough victory. Have they had a bye week? They need a bye week. If they haven't had one. 49ers versus Jaguars, easy Jaguars. Dolphins versus Jets. Trust me. I don't have Pelea. That's how you pronounce it. I don't have Pelea or speech production disorder. It's just when you talk fast, things kind of slur together. Dolphins versus the Jets. Dolphins win. With whoever the starting quarterback is. Saints versus Eagles. Again, the Saints will be up and down this year. And this is, again, one of those games. It's like every Bears game. Where you're confident if you pick against the Saints, but you're sort of like, oh. But it's two different teams right now. One's consistent. Consistency. You know that neighborhood cat that you see around? Consistent. Doesn't mess with you, you don't mess with them. But you see those geese? Inconsistent. Sometimes they poop all over the place. Sometimes they're in your lawn. Sometimes they're in other people's lawn. And the geese are the Saints, and the neighborhood cats are the cats. The neighborhood cats are the cats. The Eagles are the cats. I'm not tired. Oh, I'm not tired yet. That's not going to make the final edit. It's not. Bengals versus Raiders. Bengals coming off a bye. And the Raiders aren't such an interesting team because they've done this last year. They did it the year before, if I'm not mistaken, where they start out strong and then they get a little tired, which is understandable for an NFL season. Now, I don't know if they've had a bye yet, but they need a bye. But the Bengals coming off of a good week's, I don't know where I was, a good week of rest. A good week of rest. The Raiders coming off a good week of rest. Say that 5 times fast. Raiders coming off a good week of rest. Raiders coming off a good week of rest. I'm going to get it correct. The Raiders coming off, and I was saying the Raiders, the Bengals. The Bengals coming off a good week of rest. I think they win. Bengals win. Cowboys versus Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes' future team versus his current team. Chiefs with a statement victory, and they beat the Cowboys. I was writing this on Tuesday night. I was writing this. Recording on Wednesday. We're writing it on Tuesday night. And I didn't get the memo. Apparently, everyone was out last night. Except for me. Except for I. And as the kids say, I guess I'm out of the loop. If you come to T-Town, I wouldn't suggest hanging with me because what we're going to do is chill and watch sports. And I may do a little homework. Unless you like that kind of stuff, then by all means, come to T-Town and we can hang out. Tallahassee's T-Town, just to let you know. The state capital of Florida. Cardinals versus Seahawks. Cardinals bounce back. Cardinals always play the Seahawks tight in Seattle no matter what. So, it's going to be a hard-fought game. Russell Wilson's going to be back. But the Cardinals win. This is not of the same magnitude as the Ravens game because I really think the Ravens game is very important. But it's similar caliber. What kind of team are you, Cardinals? Are you really a Super Bowl contender? Then you win this game. Or are you a playoff filler? Which is one of the worst terms in all of sports. Do you really when you make the playoffs, do you really have a chance to win it all? It's for me to know. Or for me to find out and for you to find out. Cardinals. Big game. Big game. Steelers versus Chargers. And I believe this is the Steelers' second Monday Night Football game and the Chargers' second Monday Night Football game. And the Jaguars haven't had any. Neither have the Lions, nor the Jets, nor the Broncos. I'm just saying. Teams have 2 to 3, but some teams can't get any. 0? De nada? That's thank you. That's you're welcome in Spanish. 0. But this is another, as I said, trap game for the Steelers. I got the Steelers to win. But this is a trap game. The Bills got caught in it. The Ravens got caught in it. Steelers, don't get lost in the sauce, as Gucci Mane would say. Excuse me. The typos, the word typos, the speech typos are prevalent in this podcast. But I'm not going to edit those. I'm not editing those. Maybe some of them. It's real, man. It's one take, go all, me, Kamal Daniels, in a room by myself talking. It's how it's supposed to be. There's no way. I've yet to see a single person. I've seen it, but it's very rare where people just go without a excuse me, or let me rephrase that. It's how we talk, it's how you talk to me, it's how I talk to you. You know what I mean. Maybe. Upset alert. Upset alert. The Red Star beat the Thorn. Thorns. And the Spirit beat the Rain. 2 upsets. Now is the bye good for teams? I don't know the statistics. Do most teams usually win after a bye week? Just curious, because I've heard a few scenarios where they've talked about it, where teams play first week and they all consistently make the finals. Like, that isn't a weird thing to do. Do you tank so you can have a better outcome of winning? I'm just interested. What's the psychology, or what's... You win the games you're supposed to win and you let the cards fall where they may? It's just interesting because both teams with the bye lost. And Chicago and the Spirit will be playing in Louisville at 12 p.m. on Saturday. Preferably, I would have liked it to be a Tuesday. No Monday Night Football, no Sunday Night Football. 12 o'clock is just tough on Saturdays because college football starts at 12 o'clock. And college football is phenomenal. Maybe not as great as I would have liked it to be, but it's still good. And I think we should focus on when ballers ball. It's the championship game. 12 o'clock on a Saturday? When people's attention is going to be other places? Tuesday at 6 o'clock next year. That's where I want. That's when I want. Or Wednesday. Or Friday. Give them a week break. Friday. Play. Ball. Make them overanalyze the other team. They give 2 weeks breaks to the NFL for the Super Bowl. Just saying. And the NBA is a long season, ladies and gentlemen. We have it at excuse me. We haven't even played Christmas games yet. Like, yeah, Steph Curry's phenomenal. But we haven't even played, it's not even Christmas. It's not even Thanksgiving. Hold your horses. There's a lot of football to be played. Unless you're in the NWSL, there's only one game left. There's a lot of American football to be played. And there's a lot of basketball to be played. I have nothing else to say. And to be completely honest, we went longer than I expected. 49 minutes right now. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Just depends. Because I do have to put in the predictions audio, and I do have to put in, maybe edit some things here and there out. But we went longer than we expected because I didn't think we'd go too long due to international break. You know, but 49 minutes, about to be 50 minutes. We're closing right now. It's been 9 years. Bethune-Cookman University has beaten Florida A&M University. Florida Agricultural and Mechanical. Some people say Florida AMU, which doesn't make any sense. People say FAMU. Please stop saying FAMU. You don't spell FAMU and SHAMU. They're not spelled. Stop it. FAMU, Florida A&M, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. You can call it the College of Love and Charity, Excellence with Caring, Highest of Seven Hills, whatever you want to call it, just not FAMU. But 9 years, Bethune-Cookman University has been Florida A&M University. Will Packer, as I said, Common, Roy Wood Jr., LeBron James sponsorship. But 9 years in a row. Sadness comes in many forms, but despair only comes in one. Remember, guys, nice guys finish first unless you're playing taboo. Unless you're playing taboo. It's a discussion for another day. I'm just saying I got hosed. Everything. Oh, you can't say that. Oh, you can't. There's no way some of these people, the way they were playing, there's no way you could say black and white and piano. There's no way. I had jerseys and I literally couldn't say wears. W-E-A-R. What? I can't say where? I'm just saying how specific my cards were and the words you couldn't say and the words that they were using to describe some of the things. There's no way. There's a consistency gap in taboo, or they were being strict with me. I'm just saying, or I was abiding by the rules. Remember, nice guys finished first. But the more victory went to me. I abided by the rules. I may have lost, but I abided by the rules. And we won and we lost the game, but I feel good about myself. I'm a good person. Usually good people don't call themselves good. Just saying. But I'm going to finish my tea. It's cold now. This has been the Peng Sports Podcast. Nice guys finish first. And think about what you're thankful for now, so at the dinner table next week, next Thursday, you're not repeating what everyone else says. Think about what you're thankful for now. Family's off the list. Do not say family, unless family really means a lot to you. Don't say family. Don't say food, health, mediocre, mid-tier. When people say that, that means they didn't think about it. Be specific with your things. This is Kamal Daniels, the Peng Sports Podcast. Thank you for listening. It is 7. It's not 7. It's 8:25 right now. Finish out the week strong. And thank you.
Ba-da